Welcome back, folks. I'm actually making a different type of video this time. I'm going to make a top 10 games that I played and beaten a specific year. I was going to start out with 2022 or 2023, but I thought to myself, if I start that year, then I have to go backwards in my timeline. So I'd rather go as far back as I can and get a list of games that I beat in a specific year. I'm just going to roll some beat footage right now while I talk before I start my list. And the year I'm going to start with is 2009. First off, I'm not going to include any arcade games or multiplayer only games, because those games technically can't be beaten, they just continue on. But with 2009, I have such a short list thanks to PlayStation.com trophies that I don't have any more, I don't have a full 10 list. So that year, I'm going to break my rule only because of that reason. And one hour mention I'm going to make is Mario Galaxy. I can't remember if I beat it that year or if I beat it the following year on Nintendo Wii. That's just an honorable mention I'm going to mention in the list. It'll probably be my top 3 of what of that year, but I can't remember when I beat it. So, for that saying, let's begin. Thank you. Now, first off, the reason I'm wearing headphones is actually hopefully you can hear me better with the microphone on the headphones. So usually I notice my voice is pretty low. The volume on the TV will be low due to some copyright music. So I'll be using trailers. So I don't really have gameplays for some of these games. They're very, very old. I still own some, but I just don't feel like hooking up the PS3 or other consoles to record gameplay footage. So I'm just going to use YouTube trailers. And I'll actually mark in the description of the video reference where I got the video from. So let's start with my number 9. Number 9 I have here is a PS3 and 360 game that I played called Pure. Now this game is an ATV off-road type game. It's very slightly open world, very fun to play. I had a joyous time with it. Physics engine was great. Didn't have much as far as what to do. It does have stunts and tricks you can do in mid-air. Other than that, it's very basic as far as the tasks and challenges, but it was a lot of fun to play back then. My number 8 game is Pixeljunk Eden. This actually I think was exclusive on the PS3. I think it was probably ported in a bundle later on to the PS4. Don't recall. You can probably look that up somewhere. It's a relaxing flower 2D style game where actually you'll think you're a little creature trying to collect spores and grow the environment as far as growing plants. It is a multiplayer or single player game which you can actually just swing around and help each other get higher and higher to collect more spores. Very fun, relaxing game. This music design is very great. A lot of fun to do. My number 7 game is called Crash Commando. This was actually a digital only game far as I recall, and it was a lot of fun to play online. It's actually a side scroller, almost similar to Bionic Commando, but not really. You can actually use vehicles or just move around. It's sort of like a, I can't remember that 360 game that came out, but it's very much like it, as you can see by the footage. I had awesome, lot of fun. It does have I think split screen 2-player online, don't recall, but just check it out yourself. My number 6 game is Mercenaries 2 for the PS3 and 360. It's a very much almost like a Just Cause game. A lot of fun, a lot of comedy, destructible environments. The really cool thing about this game is you can actually pick different players that you can pick from. All pretty much same movement, abilities, nothing different. Just as cosmetic, aesthetic look. But other than that, the game has real nice explosions. A lot of fun, a lot of shooting around. The best part about the game is just the airstrikes. They're just so much fun to do, which does cost money. So this is a cool game where you actually have that money management. Because every time you use high equipment or high explosives, you have to actually purchase them. And to use them, so you have to be scarce on what you use and when you use them. When you do, it is a lot of fun. My number 5 game is Pixeljunk Monsters. This is a tower defense game. First released on the PS3 and I think later ported to or remastered on the PSP and the Vita. And I think a bundle also came out for the PS4. It's very simple, very basic as far as you do, but it's not just simple tower defense. You can place objects. You actually have to put them on the trees and the environment. And as you can see, you have to dance in front of them to upgrade the towers. It's a lot of fun if you like those tower defense type games, similar to Plants vs Zombies. So if you like it, just try it out. My number 4 game is Battlefield Bad Company for the PS3 and Xbox 360. It's very hard for me to find footage of this game that didn't have copyright music or had enough gameplay, so I actually had to look around for one. The game is your typical Battlefield type game where actually you can just have multiple classes and multiple gun arrangements. So if you like Battlefield, this is definitely a game to play. The cool thing about this game mostly is destructible environments. Obviously, yes, that's very common these days, but back then, especially in a single player game, it was just a lot of fun, a lot to see these destructible environments. So hiding was not something you can do often. So if you can find a nice hiding spot, great. But if you can't, I mean, you could, but you're not going to last long in that hiding spot. This is actually single player gameplay you see here, but it also have multiplayer mode, which I'm sure is offline now. So if you'd like to try a Battlefield game with a great story, this one has one of the best stories in a Battlefield game ever. Too bad they didn't make a third one of these. But Battlefield Bad Company 1, I love it, and you should try it yourself if you'd like to try a single player Battlefield game. My number 3 game, almost done there, is Super Stardust HD. This came out on the PS3, later ported to the PSP and the PS Vita. It's a arcade shooter. As you can see there, it actually works on a, I'm not sure what kind of plane that is. It's a circular plane. If you play Mario Kart Galaxy, you probably can tell what that is. But this was a lot of fun. It was kind of like Asteroids back then in the Atari, but this of course is just way better. I spent hours and hours and hours trying to beat my high scores and beat the arcade game, and I think I did. I think I did finish every single level and every single high I can get in this game. It was a lot of fun. Try it. My number 2 game on this list, and it's actually one of my favorite games on the PS3, and even though it didn't make my number 1, I'll probably say it's still one of my favorite single player games and one of the ones I still own a physical copy of, and it is Heavenly Sword, made by Ninja Theory. It is exclusive to PS3 and it hasn't been ported anywhere else, so it's very difficult to find and play. You can stream it through the PS Network on your PS4 and PS5, although it's very difficult because it has a low frame rate. But it's in a God of War inspired type game. Very cinematic in many ways. I love the story. I love the plot. Andy Serkis is actually in this game as well. If you know Golem, the voice actor for Golem, and he's done many other movies as well. Too bad this game never got a sequel, and it definitely deserves a sequel itself. I really wish Ninja Theory would somehow, or even somebody else, take other reins to do it. But if you'd like to try a God of War-like game, please play Heavenly Sword. Next up, my number 1 in 2009 is Warhawk. Now this is early footage of the game, so the game did look a little better afterwards. It's an online only game, and I probably think the best one on the PS3. You can actually be a soldier on the ground, and every actually soldier is the same. You rank up yourself, but you don't rank up any skills or abilities. Everyone's on equal footing. You can also play as tanks, vehicles, and also the Warhawk itself, which is a jet. Later on, they added a helicopter with multi-guns on it type vehicle. It was slow, but it was okay. You can aesthetically customize all your vehicles and characters. I love this game. They need to make a sequel to this, make it 40 players on the PS4 and 5, because I think it would just do fabulous numbers. I love this game. I kind of wish I still owned it, but I don't. And if you want to try it out, find some way to do so.